Hi,
Cool.
everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining me here on Prosper with Sonia Clark, bringing you another fabulous entrepreneur, Albert Corey. I know him quite well. He is, AKA, the tax man. He is really fabulous at bringing lots of information to you and in a really positive sense as far as an accountant and a tax advisor and a business growth strategist. So welcome, Albert.
Thank you, Sonia. By the way, guys, this is another, for your people watching this, Sonia, this is like ninja trick 1128, where, success is a contact sport. And the contact sport is, we met on our mutual friend in the group of the Forbes Riley.
Yep.
And the contact sport is, guess what? The tip is get out and meet new people, get out and find the groups, get off of Netflix and Disney Plus, okay, and Monday Night Football, because it's Monday night here in the States. So just get out and meet people. And the next thing you know, you're going to meet cool people. Now you're going to learn cool people, Sonia. You guess what? You might start to make some money and grow your business. You know what's pretty cool about that, Sonia?
Wow.
Guess how much it's going to cost me to go do and meet people on Facebook groups?
How much?
Zero.
Zero.
Hey, and I don't know about you. Sorry, we're going like, there you go.
There we go.
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I like to grow my business without spending any money. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a disease that my daddy taught me to build my business without spending any money. And that's what I do every day in my accounting office.
Well, look, it's the smart way about business. It's a smart way, whether it's business, networking, it's just the fact that you're leverage. I mean, it seems silly to be doing a whole lot of hard work. We hear that we need to work more smarter rather than harder. And especially in today's day and age. And we're very fortunate that we have the internet to be able to assist us and all these various different types of platforms that assist us. Even though, sometimes it can be creating a whole lot more work as far as all these social media channels. But it's a smart way that we can all help together. And I truly believe that this has been a fabulous catalyst, 2020 with the COVID. Unfortunately, a lot of horrible things have come about from it. But there's also some really great things that have come about. It's pushed us to be a whole lot more innovative and helped us with change and transition and to really think a little bit more laterally outside the box.
Oh, for sure. But businesses, what's really going to happen. He who thinks, it's funny, I was listening to Grant Cardone, and guys, the people that are failing, okay, are the people that didn't pivot. All right, it's so true. I don't know if there's Yelp over there, if you have Yelp,
Yes.
But CNBC said 7.5 million businesses could go out of business. Yeah. Yelp is a company that was I don't know if there's Yelp in Australia.
Yeah, there was,
Yelp,
but not big.
Okay, Yelp was pretty big for restaurants and people, and they said 200,000 businesses went out. And I'm shaking my head, why? Well, the why is you aren't, you didn't figure out that, dude, it's like when I started, I'll give you a funny story. Guess what? When I started back in the Stone Ages in 85, there was no internet.
Yep.
There's
no
internet. Guess what? I had to go make flyers at Office Depot, an office supply place. When we launched the store, there wasn't even Office Depot, where my father had to go make copiers at the copy machine, at the stationery. And then when we got the store launched, we would go to Office Depot and guess what? And make flyers. I mean, they closed at, I think 8 o'clock, and I was running in there at 7:30 to run them off. And I didn't have any money to cut them. So I would get the cutter and I'd be going, and they came out ugly and nasty, but guess what? I got them out. And I still got some of those clients today.
Yep. Gosh, I remember the good old days, the flyers. Because I've had bricks and mortar businesses as well. And there's so many times I've done the flyer runs. And I loved it, actually, doing it myself. My mum and I would
actually had no other choice.
Check out people's gardens.
Right. And you had no choice because, later on, last year we would have people go out and give out like 50,000 flyers. And we didn't do it this year because of COVID, but there was years we did 25,000 flyers door to door, old school style.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah,
But,
it does.
but like even during COVID, I just thought something crazy about these restaurants. Okay, you're closed, right? Here's a little ninja trick. Okay. Okay, if you couldn't afford Uber Eats or Grubhub or anything like that, why didn't you have somebody stand on the corner with a shirt that says, I sell hamburgers? With it, mind you, in New York and some places you can't hold a sign, even though it was covert, right? But why couldn't you get a t-shirt made, hamburgers with an arrow pointing to your restaurant? Because there were still cars on the road.
Yeah. Not here
how's
though,
that
Melbourne though. Here in Melbourne, we're still in lockdown and it's been dead. But yes, there are so many old-fashioned tips and tricks that could work. Anything really that helps you to stand out in the marketplace. So whether you go back to doing a little bit of old style stuff and a little bit of new stuff and constantly keep changing around, it's what makes you stand out, and it's entertaining. People like to be entertained.
And what else is funny about that? Here's a beautiful stat that I heard. I don't know if there was Etsy in Australia.
Yes.
But Etsy were a bunch of these crafty people. And a report, and I love this. See, I'm in Hialeah, Florida, which a bunch of Latino people, and they're like, they'll figure stuff out. But one of the cool things that I saw on Etsy, that they said that within 3 weeks of COVID hitting, people were making masks, and Etsy said that it's like $4 million of masks.
Yeah.
Masks were sold on Etsy.
Yeah.
And you know what else was pretty cool about COVID, which I thought was crazy? Beautiful crazy. It's like the second week in, we're in Miami, well, there was no mask, there was no nothing. Mysteriously, somebody, and we were open, Corey & Associates, we did not close at all. We pretty much went to more email, but if somebody wanted to come in, you pretty much sit across the hallway and you would like literally throw them at my desk. We had a basket that you would like literally roll them in, but we still took everybody in. But somebody comes in the office, I swear to God, and I still have them in the front. You know what somebody did, Sonia? And they sold them for $20 a piece. Okay. You know those little sheet protectors? Those thin sheet protectors?
Yes.
You know what this lady did? She got little plastic bands, little plastic bands, and they took sheet protectors you buy from the office stationery peeps.
Yeah.
And she sold them for $20.
What? Oh my gosh, sorry if that was a bit loud.
It's okay. No, it's okay. And guess what? My wife bought 5 of them because everybody said they were out of them. And guess what? I asked her, she was telling me that she sold 200 of them in about a day.
Oh my God.
At $20.
Oh my gosh.
How's that?
That is amazing. My gosh. Wow. My one of my sister-in-laws is actually her business on eBay has gone through the roof with a protector. There's a particular type of protector for your asthma inhalers that looks like a mask, and it's just gone through the roof.
Right. But the point is, you know what I always tell people, and I'm very controversial. The rich got richer and the poor got poorer. Do you know why, Sonia? Do you know why? You're the one who makes the mini NBA. Because the rich
I can tell you lots of reasons.
But I have an MBA of street smarts. Okay, so the rich got richer, and because the rich guy, not necessarily rich in money, he all of a sudden there was a problem. He found a way to get $50, $100, and what did he do? He started making masks and making PPP out of common stuff.
That's right. Yep.
And they started going ching ching. Well, that wasn't having any, but they were going door to door in my office selling me everything and anything.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention.
Right.
And it's about applying it in different ways and not don't look at things as being an obstacle or a restriction. Go, okay, well, if I'm going to say no, I don't accept, that pushback. I'm not going to accept that at all. How can I do a completely different way? What if I was an alien and I need to look at this in a completely different way and I've got no no concept or conception or any sorts of type of emotion attached to it as to why I can't. So, you know, that blows me away. I think that people say, well, let's try it. And other people went, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. As you can hear, listeners, that we are talking about, because I didn't introduce your topic or introduce you, Albert, we just got straight into it. But people, we're talking about the taxman's tips and tricks to making money. Can you tell? And let me just, before we get too in depth, let me just give you a little bit of accolade there, Albert, because, you know, he just loves to help and he's always paying it forward. But let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's, as you can tell, he's an entrepreneur, author of several books now. So one of them being How to Make You Stand Out in a Noisy World, and another one, The Art of Perception, as he's showing on the screen at the moment. Love the cover. And he's now a co-author of the best-selling book on Amazon, The One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success, and that's got 17 celebrities in there, the largest book ever published for entrepreneurs, 150 contributors.
830 pages, Sonia.
Oh,
and by the way, don't be modest. She's like in alphabetical order, guys. She's above me. When you go buy the book, she's like the third one in.
Am I?
And I'm closer down. But she's like a lot smarter than me because she talks about the NDA.
Look, I'm just excited to be doing it with you and with so many other people. I'm just so excited to be able to help so many small businesses as well as entrepreneurs out there, because I'm very passionate about helping each other to make a wonderful world and to help people in this time. But also people, Albert is a speaker. He's spoken on stages with Bill Walsh and Women's Prosperity Network. So he's very well connected. He's given you already quite a few tips. Let's ask some more questions.
What I'm here for.
What are some other burning thoughts that you've had recently on if you were to give some advice to some small business owners at the moment who are struggling? So you know, they're struggling in so many different ways as far as finances and as far as leverage, and there's so many various different parts to it all. Go for it.
Simple. No, it's very simple. You see, you're struggling because it goes back to the same thing. You know, you just got to go out. There's this thing. Well, I would hang up, but I got my cell phone. You see, people, I mean, I talk about all the time, and Sonia, and anybody who follows me, Albert Corey on Facebook knows this, right, Sonia?
Yep.
That there's this thing called a cell phone. Okay. Guess what?
You use it a lot.
Thank you. But guess what, though? You're already paying for the data. So if you're a small business, you know, I call part of my Ninja Profits secrets is, why aren't you for 30 minutes a day, why aren't you doing education marketing? You give me the look on that's like you're being an educator. You're showing people, you're giving tips and tricks in how to build your business. And guess what? You know, I could tell you some of the coolest stories. But can I tell you my best story about education marketing? The best one happened it was 3 years ago now, where I'm part of the Grant 10X group. And if you follow me, you know every day I'm like telling stories on how to build your business. Well, this guy calls me. He's from Melbourne, Australia. And, you know, next thing you know, we're talking on Facebook Messenger. Remember, I'm in Miami, and I'll tell people, well, I don't have their phone number. Well, dude, I'll give you a little secret, Sonia. There's this thing called Facebook Messenger. You know, I have that little logo called cell phone. So I don't need WhatsApp for success. I don't need WhatsApp. Okay, I don't need their number. If we're friends on, and guess what? You don't have to be their friends on Facebook.
That's right.
Because I can text you, and they have to accept it, but I can still text you on Facebook. And we can communicate. So, okay, we did that. And I met this guy and I started helping him. And he didn't need me. Actually, there are 2 points of the story. Point of story number one is he didn't need my services. Okay. But then guess what he said? Would you mind if you help my friend who has property in the States, if you could help them with their tax stuff? And I said, no problem. Well, that's the story. Now, to put the story into content, Sonia, I don't know if you realize this, but I live in Miami. Okay, last thing, and my in-laws live in Australia, so I know this very well. So from Miami to Sydney or Melbourne, I don't know how much of an airplane it is, but I know Miami to Sydney is a 25-hour plane ride, which is 10,000 miles. So now it's maybe 10,500 miles. I don't know what it is in kilometers, but you speak all over the world, so it doesn't matter. Point is I got a client 25,000 miles away. Why? Because I educated them and I used the power of free. I didn't charge them. I mean, when I did the people's work, I gave them the free consultant. They love it because I'm a cool guy. And 3 years later, they're still my customer.
Yep.
And what did it cost me, Sonia? Zero.
Yep. And you know what? It isn't a new concept. This whole, if I know you, I'll recommend you, it's word of mouth marketing. I call it word of mouth marketing, or WOMAC. So it's just that because things are being delivered in a slightly different way, it's thrown a lot of people in the loop. I just don't understand why I get so thrown out by it, because this is the time when we can leverage it a whole lot more. Like you said, you know, from one country to another. Wow. And the time zone things. Okay, sure. As far as being a little bit organized with certain things coming up. So say, for example, because I'm 15 hours ahead of you or something like that.
It's like 9:30 in Miami.
So, well, other than that, look, you know, what we can achieve, and certainly with groups of people, we don't have to think local bricks and mortar, even if you have a bricks and mortar business.
You know what the problem is, though?
What?
And you know this, very simple, because I use education marketing. You see, you ever notice, and tell everybody the truth, since we're friends. When you see my posts on Facebook, did I ever say, you know, go to my PayPal and give me money? Think of, we know each other about 8 weeks, 12 weeks now. Yeah. Did any of my posts ever say, give me money?
No.
Well, you know what I use? I say, if you have any questions or comments, you put it below, or you hit me up. Let's see, sorry, it's this way. You hit me up on, this is what I do. I say, put me up on Messenger.
That's right.
It goes back to education marketing. So now you ask the question, and if in a case of accounting, maybe you don't want to put, oh, dude, I owe $10,000 to IRS. What do I do? And next thing you know, they're like, hit me up on Messenger. No, but my point is, not one time did I ever say, you know, not one time, Sonia, did I say, look, bitch, go to PayPal and give me money before I talk to you.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Everyone is education marketing.
That's right. Because people, it's the law of reciprocation, because otherwise when people say, oh, well, look, that, you know, that costs, well, it actually puts boundaries. It puts boundaries around what is it you're going to hand over that piece of information or that service for that money. I mean, my value and perception of $1 compared to your value and perception of $1 is another thing. And so with that whole perception things, you're putting a whole lot of boundaries on what even could come out of it.
Right.
Whereas when you're doing it the freemium way and you're giving, the law of reciprocation comes in, but the possibility of it being 10x for that reciprocation is a whole lot more, because so much is given just from a non-ego place, from a place of love. And I know that you say, for example, Albert, you often say, you know, at the end of the day, so long as it is making money there and this is what I'm after, you know what, it's still, you give, you in particular, I've, like I said, we've known each other for a little while now, you give and give and give, and it's all selfless, it's all with a lot of love, and like attracts like, and that does 10x a whole lot more than people who just go in and out of a transaction.
Right. And here's how you make money. Let me tell you another cool thing that happened to me. And it's the same concept, where I put YouTube videos on how to open up a corporation in Florida. Okay. And I put, if you have any questions or comments, call me. I still get, and now, you know, and YouTube kind of changed a little. We still get about, from that one video 5 years ago, I probably get about 8 to 10 calls a month. Now, once they call in, I like talk to them for like 10 minutes, and dude, and I'm not going to lie to you, after I talk to you 10 minutes, And hey, look, if you need any help, you know, I will do it for you. I mean, listen, guys, I'm not going to say, I mean, do I do it for free? Yeah. But after I talk to you for 15 minutes, you know, in fact, I'll tell you another crazy story. I actually got, I mean, I have 189 reviews on Google. If you go to Corey Tax, I got 189. I got a negative. You know what they said to me? You know, I'm ready for this one.
Yeah.
After being in the office for 45 minutes, I said, hey, look, do you need my services? And they said to me, they put in the comments, he goes, it's a free consultation. I go, yeah, but after 45 minutes, I'm asking Sonia, am I right to ask, hey, look, you know, you want me to do the work, you got to pay.
Yeah.
Was that fair or did I do anything wrong?
No, definitely not. I think sometimes though people like to be, because of the perception thing, I think if you pre-frame it and say, you know, I like to give and I will give you 45 minutes as a free consultation. If it looks like we're needing to take it further on, there'll be an opportunity for me to be able to ask for money in return for my services. Is that okay? If I give you a little bit of time right now, that you can give me some possibly a payout at a certain time where it clicks over. I heard this just recently, someone's pitch on it. And I'm like, actually, that's a really quite upfront. You say that upfront and people go, oh, okay. And it's that whole pre-framing. It's something to think about.
But that's the first time that's ever happened to me. I mean, people come to my office every day and I help them. But then at the end, I say, hey, look, if you want me to do the papers, you got to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll answer all your questions, but if you want me to fill out the forms or you want me to open up the corporation for you, well, I'll give you the tips.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do the work.
No. And ultimately, look, you can't always please everyone.
Oh, I know that.
And you shouldn't, shouldn't want that, because there are always people who are going to take. So they're the people that you don't want to.
I agree.
With. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, another thing that I think is really lovely, you are an accountant. As you know, you will help with business growth strategies. So you're the tax man, you're an accountant, you're a certified accountant that helped businesses to grow. And it's been a little bit of the unsaid thing as well as a said thing, that accountants tend to look at business growth in a very negative type of a way and not very entrepreneurial way. So they'll always tend to look at the safety net, hold back a little bit. You know, one thing that strikes me a lot about you, Albert, is that you're not that way at all. So I think that you are a fabulous accountant for small businesses to be able to align themselves with you.
Right.
So tell us, what would be another classic tip that you could give some of the entrepreneurs right now to help them grow their business?
Part of it, I would tell you, is I don't know if it's in Australia, but the guys, repeat after me. Do not, if you got a business, do not, I don't know if you got it, and I'll explain what it is in Australia, at least in the States. Do not use TurboTax. Okay. No. Okay, let me explain what TurboTax is, Sonia, if you don't know what that is.
TurboTax.
That's a program you can get online, okay, that it's a computer program that does your tax returns. Okay, people think they can use TurboTax. You know, I don't like TurboTax at all, or any of those online programs. You know why? Why I hate it? Because it doesn't talk back to you. It's not going to tell you, oh shit, sorry, you put 40,000 miles on your car, you put it in the line. But, I can get more money, dude, you only put self-employed, you made 70,000 and you put 60,000 miles on your car.
Yeah.
Because these programs don't talk back to you.
No, gosh. I would, isn't that funny? Yes, there's software out there. I would never have thought that there would be small business owners and entrepreneurs, or any business owners really, that would be using something that's self-automated, because
they do.
Because there's so much that you can and can't do in business. And I know here, so I'm not sure about in the States, but here oh, excuse me, we've got different laws per state, and then so you've got state legislations and federal legislations, and the every year there's different rules and restrictions
Yeah.
and standards that get adjusted,
Right.
and it depends on the industry that you're in as well as. So there's quite a few things, and then it depends on your spouse and your your partner who you live with, the children, and
Right.
the various different types of returns and incentives and those sorts of things. One year to the next has never, ever, ever, ever been the same for us
Right.
as a family. My husband's been self-employed since he was 16. So it was like, oh my gosh, that just blows my mind that people
Can I
would
tell
want
you
to
a
do
rule,
it
my
and
second
automate it.
rule of success? Can I tell you rule number
Go
two?
for it.
Rule number two is, and I fixed out, by the way, I like this because I end up making more money on the cleaning up the shit. Sorry to put it that way. That never do a tax return. That, okay, here, let me set this up here in the States, where these people who will use TurboTax, okay, and then they'll put self-prepared. So their name isn't on the return. Now, it's legal, but here's why I think it's here. And I've been doing this now for almost 4 decades. To me, it's crazy because if they're not ready to put Coin Associates or whatever the name you're on, then they're not proud of their work and they're doing shitty work.
That's
See,
right.
my attitude is my name is on it. I mean, my office has been in the same location. We've been on the same street for 25 years. So if you're not ready to put your name, the name and address of you, whatever you're working, tomorrow you're going to be gone.
Yep.
You still might be gone, but you're not showing pride in your work. And I don't want to go to nobody, who's not going to be there tomorrow if I got a question.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I also see that the same way as far as taxes. To me, it's like pay taxes. Just get it over and done with. And we all got to pay. What was it saying in that movie? There's one thing for sure, it's death and taxes. But the thing is, like, taxes help infrastructure. And for our economies, our microeconomy and our macroeconomy to work and to do well, and that's the lifestyle we want, then we need to have infrastructure. And if those taxes are paying towards it, well, then, hey, it is. Look, there are some taxes that are unnecessary and need to be adjusted, and there's other ones that are necessary, absolutely. The fact is, with business, unfortunately, and I've seen it time and time and time again, a lot of people don't know how to set up their finances so that there's a sufficient profit margin, and that they're paying all these other things out. They're paying themselves as well.
Right.
And they're discounting into their profit margin. You don't do that.
Well, no, here's what happens here to a lot of my clients. This is why they come to me and some people don't come back. And that happened to me to somebody last year, where you made a lot of money and dude, I'm amazing what I do. But if you make $200,000 and I get you down that you have a profit of 50,000 and you got to pay tax on the 50 and you're bitching, I say, see ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, bottom line is the most businesses, and we'll move on after this, because I get it going here.
Yep.
That they don't want, they make the money, the 0 to 7 people that I specialize in, they like making the money. But sometimes when I tell them, dude, you just made 200,000 and I got you down to 50, they go, I mean, I have 80%, they're cool. They'll pay the $3,000 to the government. Then you got the other one, I gotta pay that much, especially Uber drivers. Uber drivers are the worst because you get, you're a contractor, you made $35,000 with no taxes coming out. I do the return and you owe $2,000 and you bitch. And I'm telling them, look, dude, if you would have made a $32,000 job, with taxes taken out, they would have taken more than that out on Social Security, on all the other taxes.
It's got to come from somewhere. It's got to come.
You always got to pay.
Yep.
And a quick note on that is all these northern cities, I live in Florida, so there's no city, no state tax. I mean, even, I don't know how Melbourne is, but New York City and Boston, they're getting whacked because nobody bought anything. So God help the city governments because nobody's working.
Well, that's what we're looking at here in Melbourne. And anyway, because we're part of the Commonwealth, we pay a much higher tax anyway. So when I hear people complain, I'm like, don't come and live here in Australia. And look, it's been absolutely fabulous. Before, I don't want to lose you just yet. Absolutely fabulous that you have imparted on so many pearls of wisdom here, and that people have heard you, that can reach out to you and to get some help and advice, and know that they're not going to get any BS or fluffed around by you. What's on the remainder of 2020 for you then?
2020 is, we're still going strong. I'm on a heavy promotion of my book, The Perception System. You can get your copy by texting Taxman to get it? Taxman? Get it? Oh,
Other side.
You can text Taxman to 26786. You're going to get a copy of my book, and you're going to get my 30 top business deductions.
Ooh,
to
nice.
save money. That alone has saved my clients millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's very, very handy for yourself, those that are listening, maybe for your colleagues, clients, friends. Yeah, definitely have to reach out to there. So I'm going to get those details from you anyway, pop it on the webpage here on my website to make sure that people can get that and make sure that it's all correct. So that's obviously at the soniaclark.com /episode. And is there an offer you would like to provide the listeners?
The offer is if you text Taxman to 267, I'll tell you what, because Sonia, your people are really cool. If you text Taxman, I mean, most of yours are in the States, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if you text Taxman to 26786, you're going to get my book. You're going to get the 30 top business deductions.
Yep.
You're going to get my 5 big tips that you can, my blueprint, how to grow your business with no capital. And there's a link that says free consultation. 30 minutes.
There you go. I got it for you, people. I got you some really good deals there. That's so seriously fantastic. And before we do a sign off, because I know that you need to go, before we do a sign off, is there any last minute things you might want to say?
Yeah, guys. You know, everybody can go, you know, I'm the tax man. And for almost 4 decades, I've helped people. You know, all I hear in today's society, oh, it's covered. Ooh. Well, guess what? I started in 82 when the economy was just as bad and there was no excuses. So guys, just get out there. You know, the only difference between 82 and 2020, Sonia, is now you might have to use your brain. See, the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. You know why? Because the rich guy, not necessarily Bill Gates in that sense, because you're going to use your mind. You're going to find a way to make it happen. The poor guy is just waiting for the government handout. And even then, when the handout runs out, where are you going to go?
Exactly.
Government can only give out, even Australia, they can only give out so much money.
That's right. That's right. Don't play victim. 2 choices. I always say to people, victim or victor. Play victor. It's your life. It's your future. Let's band together. Let's collaborate. Let's work on creating a better future. And the future is the next few minutes, the next few hours, the next few weeks, months, and so forth. So we have a lot more control over it. And I really, really appreciate your help and support in this, Albert, on our show, and for sharing your wonderful tips and or ninja tips, really, aren't they? Your
For
ninja
sure.
tips and tricks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.